Chapter 11, Jack 2. Judge Graham calls the court into order for the second half of Jack's case. We hear from Brian's parents and three brothers. It's then time for an unnamed witness to enter the court. A woman about 25 years old is led to the witness podium by a bailiff. She is sworn in, then sits down. Everyone is holding their breath as the prosecutor walks towards the girl and asks her to tell everybody who she is. My name is Samantha Graves, and I am the sister of the real Jack Grimes. She points at Mr. Grimes and says, and the sister of him. His real name is Buster Graves, Jack's identical twin brother. The prosecutor asks Samantha to explain everything. Samantha says, first of all, my brother Jack's real last name was Graves too, not Grimes. Jack and Buster were born 7 years after I was. Growing up, Jack was always the nicer brother. In preschool, Buster would bite any kid or person who got near him. In elementary school, he was kicked out of 10 different schools in kindergarten for hitting kids and teachers. So my mom, who was a single parent, decided to keep him home and try to homeschool him. But homeschooling didn't work, so she made a terrible decision and locked him in the basement of our house and would only unlock the door to give him food or empty his waste bucket. Judge Graham could tell people were getting uncomfortable and interrupted. She says, if you would like to leave the courtroom now, please do so, but wait in the witness room. She gives people a few minutes to leave, then tells Samantha to continue. Samantha says, late last year, my mom told me to feed him, so I unlocked the door, gave him his food, and emptied his waste bucket. I left and went to the grocery store as my brother Jack was coming home from school. I guess I forgot to lock the basement door, because when I came home, I found blood on the floor and saw the basement door open. Before I could turn to run away and call for help, I felt a knife at my throat and then heard Buster say, hello, sister, in that sinister voice of his. He forced me to call Jack's school pretending to be my mom and tell them that we had a family emergency in the US and we didn't know when we would be back. After I did that, he locked me in the basement with my mom and Jack's bodies. The prosecutor asked her how she escaped. She tells Judge Graham, when they arrested Buster and took his DNA, they got a match to my father who had been in jail before. They tried to call us, but Buster disconnected the phone, so they tried calling anybody who knew us, and they said they hadn't heard from us in almost a year, so they came to my house to do a wellness check. When they got there, they smelled the rotting bodies and called for a crime scene investigator. When they went to check the basement, they found me barely alive. I was rushed to the hospital where I stayed for a month, and then I was placed into protective custody until they could go after Buster. Judge Graham said that she had heard enough and that she would make a judgment right now. She looks directly at Buster and says, Buster Graves, you are a disgusting human being. If Canada still had the death penalty, I would make sure you were the next person put to death. But since we don't, you get the following charges and sentences. 2 counts of murder, which both carry life sentences. 1 count of attempted murder, which carries a life sentence. 1 count of hostage taking, which carries a life sentence. There are other things I could charge you with, but it wouldn't change a thing. I sentence you to life in prison without the chance of parole. You won't see the outside again. And since our jail isn't maximum security, we will be transferring you to the North Bay Jail. Court is adjourned. After Judge Graham finishes, everyone gets up and cheers. The Connors, Amelia, and Miss Anderson go to a restaurant and have a toast to Brian.